Good morning, students. How are you all? Fine? Fine? Very good. Now, the previous class, we did the lesson, the third level. Today, we are going to do the question answers of this lesson. Right? Right? Now, if we see the question answers, dear children, the NCERT questions first. They're important ones and they are wonderful questions. As I discussed that this chapter, when we discuss the question answers, will be wonderfully clear and we will have some more ideas how to describe your answers. So if you see the questions, please open page number 7. Open page number 7. Right, now if you see reading with insight, okay, do you think that the third level was a medium of escape for Charlie? We read in the beginning only, he himself confessed, and he has also shared some instances that he used to be in some tunnels and he used to go somewhere, places which were quite strange. And one fine day he found himself on a level which he called as third level. The next question, the first few minutes we'll just read the questions so that you can imbibe them, you can understand them. What do you infer from Sam's letter to Charlie? Now his psychiatrist who was diagnosing his problem, investigating his problem, has disappeared, or he found that his own friend had disappeared and he has sent a letter. And why did the letter had or bore that date 1894? Because he had gone in the past, right? Because the friend now was in past. So when he wrote the letter to Charlie, the date was and the time was the past, from the past you can see. So we'll share the answers. We'll prepare the answers from the point of view of 2 marks and the detailed 5 marks. The modern world is full of insecurity, fear, war, worry, and stress. What are the ways in which we attempt to overcome them? Yes, we do try, like Charlie. Charlie had the hobby of stamp collecting. He enjoyed stamp collecting. He do a sketching, listening music, painting landscapes, making cards, what not. And there are n number of things that you students also indulge yourself. So, do you see an intersection of time and space in this story? Yes. Now, how to elaborate these answers? Apparent illogicality sometimes turns out to be a futuristic projection. Discuss. These 5 questions are very important ones from the point of view that you will be able to answer other questions also if they come from here and there from the lesson. Right? So we'll just revise the lesson in 5 minutes, in few minutes, and then we will move on to the question answers. What points we are going to cover in these? Let me share the screen with you. Okay. Now, let's have a recap of the lesson. The highlights: Grand Central Station of New York had or has 2 levels, right? Charlie, a 30-year-old resident of New York finds that existence of this hypothetical third level, right? He has imagined and he has framed his own hypothesis that there is third level and claims to have that it is there. Charlie visits a psychiatrist friend to discuss his problem. The psychiatrist calls it a walking dream wish fulfillment. These things are being discussed so that you can answer small questions also, MCQs also, right? What does the psychiatrist call this as? Walking dream fulfillment, wish fulfillment. Charlie is experienced by saying that the modern world is full of insecurity, fear, worry, and war, and everybody wants to escape to some temporary refuge from reality. Right? He also says that his grandpa did not want such escape. According to him, even hobbies like stamp collection is a manifestation of this escape. Of course, I do believe that when you are indulging your hobbies, at least you are away from all the material pursuits and the worlds that have troubled you. We live in so many worlds, right? Now, though we live on clouds also, right? The clouds that we have. Our children better understand those clouds, right? What are those technology clouds? So fast growing grand sequestration at times seems to be a maze to Charlie, right? Maze where you get lost and you search your way and all. So he had lost his way a couple of times earlier too while taking the subway. Once he entered the lobby of Roosevelt Hotel, and some other time he entered into some other way and he lost his way. Charlie keeps walking in the quiet corridor, angling left and slanting downward, and he reaches an architecturally old station. The infrastructure is old, the people are old, the dressing is old, fashioned, and completely different from the two other levels. This antique world with fewer ticket counters, antiquated world, small, antique, ancient, old world of, of 19th century, right? 1894 he is, 1890 he is, and he sees those flickering open gas lights, right? Then spittoons on the floor. What did he find? Old types of lights, brass spittoons on the road, right? He also finds that people in outmoded outfits and the world, old newspaper which was mentioned the world, which was the name of the name of the newspaper was the world, is printed June 11, 1894, right? As he tenders money to the clerk, as he gives his money to the clerk, he realizes that all of a sudden he realizes that he needs old currency. Now he was sure that yes, there is third level. And he wanted to travel to Galesburg with his wife. A wonderful town, tremendous trees, lawns, huge, lawns, and all these things he wanted to experience. And then, so the next day during lunch, he exchanges $300 for old style bills amounting to some 200 only. Now coming to the next thing, the loss doesn't bother him much as he believes that in Galesburg everything will be cheaper and that he can manage even with a small amount. But he could never again find the corridor leading to the third level, and his wife also tells him that not to find out otherwise, and she also found that as if he has become crazy. Suddenly Charlie realizes that his Sam Wiener is nowhere. He has disappeared. And philately is not just stamp collection, but a broad term including the study of stamps, postal history, and other related items. This lesson also talks, after this point, we are sharing this point because here we come to know that his stamp collecting hobby guided him furthermore when he finds a stamp. First day cover. It was sent by his friend Sam, who has already reached that world. So there is this philately, the collection of stamps, the hobby of collecting stamps is known as philately, and moreover, this hobby is not only collecting stamps but also we come to know about postal history and other related items. When a new stamp is issued, now what is first day cover? Let's revise. We did that day also. When a new stamp is issued on the first day, people mail a blank paper to themselves and then retain that unopened letter with the date on the postmark. They keep it as their collection. Such an envelope is known as a first day cover. Charlie has inherited his grandfather's collection of first day covers. Charlie has this collection because his grandpa was also interested in collecting stamps. And one day, while fidgeting his stamp collection, Charlie gets a letter, right? Or there was a postmark on a faded 6-cent stamp with the picture of President Garfield. And the date was on the envelope, July 18, 1894. Right? The letter was written by Sam Wien, but letter was written by the person who was in present. So this proved that he has reached past and he wrote a letter. When he has gone in past, he is 100 years back, a century back. And he wrote the letter on 11th, July 18, sorry. and it reached Sam here. Sorry, Charlie here. Right? And the last line of the lesson, dear students, this Sam was no one but my psychiatrist friend who has disappeared. So this way the lesson moves, keep putting us to think and ponder that was really the third level being experienced by Sam, and now was invited our protagonist who has once experienced this, and he did not have the currency, and he came to know and came home and discussed with his wife, and now is searching. So do you think the third level was a medium of escape for Charlie from his world of worries, tensions, anxieties, insecurities? Yes, of course, it was a medium of escape, right? Because this fear keeps on biting us. Modern man is being bitten, right? All the time. He is helpless and confused, perplexed, and he seeks solutions. Now we are drafting this answer. Do you think the third level was a medium of escape? Why? Because modern man is helpless. His ways are quite dark. We have discussed in poetry also. His own ways are quite dark, and he keeps on rushing and rushing. And one day he finds himself troubled, perplexed, and he wants now solutions. So war, worry, insecurity, right? We can add pandemics. They keep the modern man under pressure, and he needs now, he searches this, searches this solace and tranquility. And it is then he looks for a temporary refuge from reality. And in Charlie's case, he found this comfort, this temporary comfort in stamp collecting. The fast pace of life and overwork combined with anxiety had made Charlie restless. So you can pick up some points for your writing. Charlie had become restless. He wanted inner peace and comfort. His hobby of philately was not sufficient enough to grant him this emotional relaxation and calmness. This redoubled his search. Why was he so eager to search this third level? Somewhere his thought occupied a permanent place in his subconscious mind. Somewhere this thought that third level exists occupied a permanent place in his subconscious mind, resulting his fight to find, right? Resulting his fight to flight to third level, a level which he associated with peace and tranquility. Not only he associated it with the past, but also he associated this with tranquility, because these were the times of his grandpa's age and he did not have much tensions, right? His psychiatrist friend Sam also diagnosed Charlie's claim to have visited the third level as a walking dream wish fulfillment. Hence, third level was undoubtedly a medium of escape for Charlie. He wanted to escape to such world. Why? Because he was maybe restless, maybe in discomfort, right? As generally the modern man is, he is himself in his caught in his cobwebs of rushing and rushing mechanically. Charlie was one amongst us, representative of modern man, right? What is a first day cover? That we have already shared. What does the third level refer to? This third level was Grand Central Station of New York had or has subways on two levels from where the commuters used to take trains to different destinations. No third level was ever built. However, the protagonist of the story, Charlie, believes in the existence of third level operating in a time frame of 1890s. The third level signifies an escape from the modern world that is full of, this is a bit repetitive, but this you can mention this way, full of insecurity, war, worry, tension, anxiety, restlessness. The period of 1890s represents a peaceful life not possible in the present era. If you see children, historically this period was the period before the wars, before First World War, before Second World War. At that time, there was no war-like situations. It is also highlighting that when man suffered, what does war bring? War brings disasters, damage, decay, death of the close ones, and no one is the victorious one. No country is the victorious country if we look at the wars of the past. Right? From this level, the protagonist wants to travel to Galesburg, Illinois with his wife, Louisa. For him, it is a part of reality, while his psychiatrist friend does not believe. But the irony in the lesson, what is ironical? His friend himself escaped and he writes a letter. So if a question comes which is not there in the NCERT questions also, that what is the irony in the case of Sam? What is the irony in the lesson? The irony is the third level did not exist, but he believed that there is third level, and moreover his psychiatrist friend who said it was a walking dream wish fulfillment. In the end of the lesson, we come to know that he himself disappeared and wrote a letter. So would Charlie ever go back to ticket counter on the third level to buy tickets to Galesburg? After reading the story, we get to know Charlie was interested with his wife Louisa. However, he couldn't locate it again. The first time round, he found the third level by accident. Coincidentally, when he reached the ticket corner, he realized that the currency he had with him was not useful as it belonged to a different period. He went back to convert $300, and all these instances in the story tell us that yes, he was very much eager to go to the third level, right? He couldn't go back for the third level as his wife was worried and she also stopped him. Moreover, he himself had stopped looking it for some time, right? What do you infer from Sam's letter to Charlie? An important question indeed. The letter was addressed to Charlie but mailed to his grandfather in Galesburg, Illinois. Charlie would not be born at that time to this particular address. We can make out if you are going 100 years back in the past, will you be there now? You will go back, but what will happen if you match the time? Right? So it was mailed in 1894 and now appears in his grandfather's collection. The letter was suddenly found among the first day covers where it had never been seen earlier. Moreover, the contents of the letter were exactly what Charlie thought about Galesburg. Sam's letter to Charlie was a mystery in the lesson that blend together, that bound two worlds together of reality and fantasy. So please make a point here. Note this, that Charlie's letter is symbolic of joining, blending, binding two worlds together, one of reality and the other one of fantasy, and needs further exploring. There are two perspectives from which one can look at the letter. Sam has reached Galesburg in 1984, right? Sorry, 1894. However, if we look at the deeper level, we can infer that just another instance of his hallucination or dreams, craziness, and that reaching into that imaginative world. Very eager, what has been imagined, believing that it is real, and dreams of escapism. At any cost, he wanted to escape. It is possible that while Charlie was looking at the old first day letter, he was carried away to a different world where the letter was sent to Charlie by Sam. Right? There are psychological disorders also, children. People go so deep into imaginations. You might have watched movies also. They create their own world. They start living in that world. And it becomes very difficult for the elders and the parents and the well-wishers to drag them out of that world. Right? Stress is this great factor. It can split the worlds. We see this as a psychological disorder. Charlie wanted something which he couldn't get, so he created for himself. in his imaginations. Right? This letter reflects Sam's undeterred urge that forced him to keep looking for the third level. This letter also tells us, the third point you can make out, that this letter tells us that when the protagonist has described in this manner, it meant that Sam actually is writing a letter or not, but Charlie surely wanted to go to the third level. Right? He couldn't go, that is another reason, but he wanted, and this force will keep him always, ready and alert, and always he will keep him busy because he wants to satisfy this urge of reaching the third level. This will keep him occupied. The modern world is full of insecurity, stress. What are the ways in which we attempt to overcome them? When I was sharing the questions with you, I discussed that we do often, we often try to find out ways to come out, right? Insecurity is there, but the thoughts make it more severe. The more you think, the more obsessed you are about these thoughts, you'll be troubled. So you need those diversions from tensions and anxiety. When you're tired of studying, dear children, what you do? You listen to the music, you take a walk, your mom says, please get up for some time. Right? I don't know what is your case, whether your mom says sit for studies or get up from studies. But the thing is that we need that change, that those changes are quite healthy for us after doing obsessive work. So stripped of all thrill and excitement, modern man is rather living a life that is a cobweb of tensions and anxieties. Right? We discussed that his mechanic life, very mechanical, monotonous life, is being highlighted through Charlie's character. Right? And he wants to come out of this quagmire, Quagmire, right? This maze he wants to come out, and he goes to search solace for himself, tranquility for himself, peace for himself, world of fiction, hobbies, sports, music, creativity. So what is the question, dear children? The question is that what are the ways in which we try to overcome them? We search that peace through fantasy, hobbies, cinema, music, creativity, sports, fiction, science fiction, like this, right? People often turn to religion, spirituality to give themselves that relief, right? So the degree of involvement in these activities ascertains the level of calmness he attains, right? So the tranquility that he experiences, we have used so many words for tranquility, peace, right? All these synonyms that he experiences for himself saves him from psychological disorders and problems caused by stress and apprehension and anxiety. Right? Now, the last question, another 2 minutes. Apparent illogicality sometimes turns out to be futuristic protection. All our scientific inventions were considered foolish at one point when people were making them, creating them. They were ridiculed by their counterparts and colleagues and friends. But today we count them as greatest of the inventions. Right? When a man would have thought, I'll go on the moon, the other friend would have said 150 years back or 100 years back that you are foolish. You're thinking of going into space. How will you go? But today we plan. Our scientists, they go, they bring a lot of learning for the future. So futuristic projections. The visualization of sometimes something impractical, illogical. So brings out something very, very fertile and futuristic. So in fact, a good number of scientific inventions sounded ridiculous when some fertile mind imagined them for the first time. Railway engine, aeroplane, telephone, radio, television, internet. 200 years back, you go back and find out where the internet was. And all the services that we are able to do because of internet sounded very illogical 100 years back. But today, they are part and parcel of our life. The world of science fiction, and that we talk today, 2157th year. 150 years later from today, what will happen? We don't know. The extraterrestrial life, aliens, may sound unbelievable today, but tomorrow, maybe we might be traveling to, man may be traveling to planets inhabited by aliens. However, within a span of 100 times, the apparent illogicality, like submarines, who had thought of submarines? Example is being shared in the answer. Not only aeroplane, railway engine, steam engine, radio, television, and internet, but submarines also. The idea of going back in time, as shown in the third level, is illogical, yet who knows, someday in future it may become possible, right? We all have grown with watching that show, Cartoon Network show, that machine takes back into time, that Doraemon, right? So philately helps to keep the past alive. Of course, all these cultures and these hobbies that we possess today, they keep the things alive, keep one's past alive. There are many other such mediums like monuments, relics, coins, literature. So the question is, what do you think of the human tendency to constantly move between the past and the present and the future? It is a natural urge. Past, present, and future are like links in the chain of existence. Right? Unlike the other species, human beings learn from the past while trying to make the present and the future better. How? Whatever mistakes we have done in the past, we learn from them, we don't repeat them, or we learn not to repeat them. Whatever good things we have done, we do them. Philately helps one keep one's past alive, and there are many other mediums also. Our epics, our ancient books, right? Our scriptures, literature, poetry, coins. So human tendency to oscillate, between three phases of time, past, present, and future, reveals man's urge to chase what evades him. Present usually leaves man dissatisfied and he takes it casually, but when present fades into the past, he looks back with a sigh that those good old days. When it is present, he is dissatisfied. But when it becomes past, he says, oh, those days were wonderful. You'll speak the same about your childhood. Those childhood days were wonderful. Those school days were wonderful. But in present, so we keep on moving from past, present, future. We go in future, we make plans, we come back in present. So this way, man, like a pendulum, moving from past to present, present to past, present to future, future to present. So this is a natural tendency, right? And we wishfully wait for tomorrow to happen something good and wonderful. Right, dear students? I hope the questions are clear. These 5 questions are clear.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope you have understood very well, thoroughly. Yes? Where is Nachiket?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. We'll continue the few more lessons which are remaining to be revised in the next class. God bless you, dear children. Thank you. Right?